Treasure each moment with her and tell her she was right. We do have a choice.
It's been over a decade since comic book fans first began wondering when the Fantastic Four would appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Although it originally seemed hard to imagine Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and Thing crossing paths with the likes of Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man, the past few years have shown us that anything is possible as long as you are patient. Here are 10 things to expect from the Fantastic Four. By the way, while you're here, make sure to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our engaging videos, and use that trigger finger by smashing that like button. Now, let's get into it. Good casting. The internet lost its mind after news broke that John Krasinski was interested in starring as Mr. Fantastic in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Krasinski has been fan-cast in the role much like Patrick Stewart was cast as Charles Xavier, and for good reason. As compelling as this casting would be, fans need not forget that Krasinski alone isn't enough to make the next Fantastic Four movie a success. Well, it's not that many don't already know this. It's always a good idea to remind anyone who will listen that bad casting was a major problem in the past Fantastic Four movies. Quite frankly, John Krasinski's involvement is near the bottom of the list of things necessary for the franchise to succeed in the MCU. Skipping the origin story. Besides the fact that we've already seen how the Fantastic Four were created on screen a few times, it's also worth mentioning the story itself is rather dull in comparison to other origins. After a space accident, everyone slowly realizes that they have superpowers. There is no fighting the Axis, no murdered parents, no destruction of planets, and even no outcasts being taken in by a telepathic professor. Every one of them receives great power, but understands right away the enormous responsibilities that come with it. In the days when superheroes were novel, the Fantastic Four's origin story was entertaining, but by today's standards, it's stale. If the new Fantastic Four movie needs to spin up the same old tale, just summarize it at the beginning. Their origin is fine as long as it isn't the whole story. Setting it in the past. As far as the standalone Fantastic Four movie goes, fans speculate that the film could be a prequel, in which the team exists before other superheroes like Iron Man and Black Panther. This would definitely be an exciting option because it would give filmmakers the chance to cement the Fantastic Four as the MCU's first family of superheroes. However, there is a downside in that fans may wonder how the Fantastic Four could exist without being mentioned in any of the previous MCU movies. Marvel's first family in an alternate reality. The Fantastic Four could also be introduced in the modern day, with filmmakers revealing that the team gained its powers during the 5-year period between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. It's also vital that we take into account the multiverse, which Marvel Studios has very clearly stated is something they plan to expand. The concept will be explored in the Doctor Strange sequel, as well as in the Loki series on Disney+, and it is very possible that Marvel will introduce the Fantastic Four as part of an alternate reality. It makes sense because if there's a character who can figure out interdimensional travel, it's Dr. Reed Richards. Saving Doctor Doom for a major MCU movie. It is without a doubt that Doctor Doom is one of Marvel's greatest villains. This makes him the biggest villain for the Fantastic Four, though it would be best if the franchise drew its shot at the major villain later on. Put him in a position where he doesn't need to confront anyone right away, but give him a mention or a scene or two. To put it simply, Doctor Doom is too versatile as a villain to be used in just one film. He could play the role of Loki for the next generation of Marvel villains, and give Latvia a much-needed presence in the MCU. Doom should be involved with the Fantastic Four at some point, but he does not have to be the major threat. This franchise has many other great villains, some of which will help audiences understand what the Fantastic Four can do. Arrival of Galactus. Kevin Feige is almost certainly working on a plan to set up the arrival of Galactus, the perfect villain for the next era of Marvel movies. The Fantastic Four's introduction to the MCU opens the way for the arrival of Marvel's favorite comic book villain, Galactus. If comic book fans are to speculate, it would be great if the Fantastic Four came from an alternate reality and warned the likes of Captain Marvel and Nick Fury after they had already lost to Galactus on their Earth. feel free to go a little weird with it. As far as the MCU is concerned, the Fantastic Four is late to the game. It will be hard for this superhero franchise to do something that hasn't already been done before, and to give these characters their own identity. One solution is not to be afraid to get weird with it, because this franchise has a lot that is unique compared to others. While the core team need not be weird, things will differ if they face someone like Puppet Master or Annihilus in the Negative Zone. Fantastic Four is capable of having this kind of fun, and that's what it should be. The truth is that these heroes aren't the strongest, the most cunning, or the most entertaining in the Marvel mythos, so they should have some unique gimmick to draw people in. Get weird. Tell a story not centered on Sue and Reed. The Richards are arguably one of Marvel's main power couples, but a strong marriage between an invisible woman and a stretchy guy isn't exactly the highlight of this team. Johnny Storm, a death-defying and sometimes reckless character who can literally erupt in flames, and Ben Grimm, who is effectively the Elephant Man of Marvel, should be who the story follows. In the Marvel Universe, there are few more powerful stories than Ben Grimm being transformed in a grotesque way and becoming so disconnected from his humanity that his nickname becomes Thing. A tale like that is full of a horrific sadness, and we are living in an era where Marvel could tell a very powerful story about it. The Fantastic Four was always at its best when Thing was at the center of things, so a story centered on him someday might be a good shot. There's more to going to space than getting powers. If your only knowledge of the Fantastic Four stems from movies, then it wouldn't be so crazy for you to assume this team went to space just once, and then tapped out. In truth, the Fantastic Four have spent a lot of time in space. They fought aliens, explored the galaxy, and had a lot of fun doing it. It is inevitable that the MCU will eventually become more cosmic, and the Fantastic Four will be the ideal candidates to participate when the time comes. While they won't be much help to Captain Marvel, everyone has a role to play in an ensemble adventure. Besides, Reed Richards is a genius, and there would never be a situation in which having him around was a problem. This will require finding a sweet spot for these guys that has effective ways for them to contribute to adventures without feeling redundant. Fantastic Four release date. Marvel's recent trailer for upcoming movies featured a brief mention of the movie, but the release date wasn't revealed. Marvel's schedule for 2021 and 2022 is already loaded, and Watts is still working on Spider-Man No Way Home. A Disney update on May 28th revealed that we will be getting 5 Marvel Studios movies in 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on February 17th, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 on May 5th, and 3 untitled movies on July 28th, October 6th, and November 10th. One of the latter 3 is likely Fantastic Four. What are your thoughts on what it takes for a Fantastic Four movie to succeed? Let us know in the comments section below. And hey, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue giving you the best content. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.